Hey guys, how's it going? Comparing here. Today I wanted to go over some of the more annoying things that happens in Arena, but in Constructed as well, as you guys probably know very well. And I'm going to mention the 5 cards I think are really broken in the early game. And these aren't necessarily broken cards by themselves. It's just like cards that really punish players for having like slower decks or crappy draws for their good decks. And in this list, I'm basically going to go from the best to the worst. So it's going to be the most annoying, the most broken one, because you guys obviously know what it is. It's Undertaker, right? So you have Undertaker. Undertaker, it basically follows as all the other cards, but this is the most broken one in the game. Blizzard has said that they don't really have an intention on nerfing the card, and there is some merit to that because you have such broken cards that are so aggressive. It makes it so people who play control decks can be punished by the aggressive decks. So without Undertaker, honestly, like Hunter would not be in a very good spot as opposed to where it is now, where it is in an extremely good spot, mostly because of this card, because they do Undertaker and then turn 2 Death Rattle, Death Rattle, and then turn 3 Death Rattle, Death Rattle, and then by turn 4, if you don't have a big game Hunter, you're dead. And if you have a big game Hunter, you're also dead because you've been taking that damage all throughout the turns. So, how do you nerf Undertaker? I don't know. You make it 2 mana, you make it a 1/1, you make it start as a 0/2 maybe, or a 0/1. I don't know. You make it not gain toughness as you play Death Rattle creatures. I don't know. There's some kind of necessary input on this card, but it is really ridiculous. And I'm going to include some replays of these top cards in my list here, but I'm not going to do Undertaker because if you've ever played Hearthstone, you've played that game where a hunter has Undertaker and you have your first play, you're going first, and your first play is like a 4-drop, and by the time you can actually do anything in that game, you are dead. And that's basically the kind of cards that I feel are pretty cheesy, pretty broken. They just create scenarios that really punish mediocre hands, and it's just kind of lame. Like about a year ago, I made a video similar to this, and it was, Pint-Sized Summoner would make it so, because it was -2 mana cost, you'd play Pint-Sized Summoner, and you'd play like a 4-drop or a 5-drop. It'd just be ridiculous. You could never recover from that back then. And, cards like Defias Ringleader, which was a 2/3, and it spawned a 2/1, very similar case. Rogue would go second, would have that, and you'd want to kill yourself. So, these days, you have the really extreme ones like the Undertaker, and number 2 on the list, you have the Mechwarper. I'm sure you guys are not surprised at all to see this little guy here, because as so happens, you play Mechwarper, and then you play Mechwarper, and then suddenly your whole hand costs 0 mana. So you play your 0 mana hand, you have 5 or 6 creatures, and your opponent has no idea what to do because it's only his 3rd turn. So, this card along with Undertaker has set up the metagame and constructed such that without these cards, there would literally be no aggressive decks. I mean, all the aggressive decks I can think of use these cards, or I don't know, some shit like Hobgoblin and Hobgoblin Druid, which, okay, that deck is fine, but who are we kidding? When you queue up ranked, you are queuing into these cards half the time, and you lose half of those games because you don't get an appropriate answer right away, and that's just bullshit. Really, that's what I don't like. And this falls in Arena a little bit more with some other cards, which are a little bit down more on the list. So I want to mention the next one is Whirling Zap-o-matic. So this card doesn't really see much constructed play because, you can play this, but if your opponent played an Undertaker, suddenly when you want to attack with it, the Undertaker is a 3/4, and your Zap-o-matic is just a piece of garbage. But when it comes to Arena, if you're playing against the Shaman, or if you are the Shaman, you play Zap-o-matic. If your opponent has that traditional going first 4 mana drop is the first thing they can play, they're absolutely dead. And this card, along with some of the others, it can be a back and forth game to where you play a 2-drop, they play a 2-drop, but then you have like a Rock Biter and then another 2-drop, and you have like a Lightning Bolt and another 2-drop. It just gets out of hand that way, where you can protect the minion either with spells or with taunts, and this card really makes it go out of control. It doesn't seem too overpowered in Constructed, I know, but in Arena, as you guys will see in some of the examples, 1 out of 10 games, it's just going to be ruined by this card because either you're not going to have an answer when your opponent has it, or the opponent's not going to have an answer when you have it. Next on the list, a little bit less broken, but not quite so, is the Micro Machine. So the Micro Machine is this little guy that starts up as a pretty crappy creature. When you play it for the first time, if your opponent had made the first play with like a 2/3, like if the opponent does a Zombie Chow, you can't actually play as a Micro Machine. So it's a little bit vulnerable in that sense, but once it starts to get going, it really gets going, and it doesn't require like somewhat complicated scenarios like the ghoul, for instance. It just grows by itself, usually as fast as a flesh-eating ghoul, just as the turns fly by. And because it's a mech, you can combo it with Mechwarper, and because it's 2 mana and not 3, you can usually protect it a little bit better because it comes out a little bit earlier. So yeah, this card, again, not too broken in Constructed. Just a very solid card in Arena. But when it's that game, when it's a mage, turn 1 Micro Machine, and they got like 3 Frostbolts, 3 Flame Cannons, and like a Fireball, you're just done. If you run up against this card and a bunch of answer after answer after answer, well, that's why it's number 4 on the list. And number 5, we got the Raging Worgen. I thought I'd keep it traditional, and you guys will see this card mostly combines with some kind of buffs from other classes, but when you play against Mage, it gets really out of hand. One, because Mage in Arena has a lot of the removal cards that are just a bit too good, a bit too efficient, and combo to the fact that they can actually use their hero power to combo the Enrage on the Raging Worgen to make it hit for 8. If they have those said removal cards like Frostbolts, like Fireballs to follow, it gets out of control very quickly. And this card combined with, significant buffs, more traditionally, I guess I could mention Blessing of Kings. Suddenly, you have just a ridiculously powerful creature way too early in the game for your opponent to have an answer, unless he has like a Fireball or something like that. So those are the 5 cards that I think the game might be a little bit better off without. At least in Arena. I do like to play Arena in a more control-y kind of game, and has moved into more aggressive type of game. But I understand in Constructed some of these cards are pretty tame, mostly because the ones higher on the list really outshadow the ones a little bit lower on my little list here. And because, well, you can make a pretty damn good Constructed deck in Constructed still, and do well enough that losing 1 out of 4 games to a Rush Hunter or whatever isn't that big of a deal, though it isn't too much fun when I play. Anyway, hope you guys enjoy my list. I want to show you guys a few of the games to see just how cheesy some of these cards can be. And if you guys don't agree, watch the videos, and maybe you will then. Hope you guys will enjoy it, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Oh my god.
Mind if I roll need?
I'll worry up, I'll worry up. Online, online.
The pleasure is mine. Hello.
Something needs tinkering?
+1 health, that doesn't do anything.
Here we go.
I'm gonna use that to try to combo Defias if we need to.
For the king!
No need.
Hello.
This is our
Our picker time!
Here we go.
It's time for a little blood.
Yep, there's another balanced card.
You're looking at me.
main weakness is Blizzard into Flame Strike. He's already played the coin, I think. If he didn't coin, I would have put an armor plating on that. That's a good try. That's a little broken. Oh, Mechwarper is a pretty good card. I just learned that. How about that?
We have many secrets.
Well, this might be a bit of a problem here. Rock biting time, I guess.
Just been real dicks today.
What's the 3-drop? Harvest fucking Golem. Well, I guess I'll just start this game with Half-Life. No big deal, guys. No big deal at all. If he has a taunt, I just lose. Like if he top decks a Sinjin here, it's game over. I'd have to top deck him back with Polymorph Fireball. Fuck! Yeah, actually just lose. Like this card, when you have answer after answer, it's just easy win. And when you're on the receiving end and you have no answer after no answer after no answer, well, it's a pretty stupid game. Is it lightning bolt time? Oh, flame tongue. Look at that, I'm basically dead. 4 HP. That was a fun game, guys. I'm glad you guys enjoyed watching. Oh, it's a hunter. We need some early game. 1-drops are pretty good. There's a 1-drop. You should be in decent shape then. Going first 1-drop is really good. My matchup against the hunter is pretty bad because I don't have any healing. And a lot of my cards deal damage or rely on me taking damage, like the floating watchers. But it's still okay, I think. So if he does Animal Companion and gets a Leok, I absolutely crush him. Like, I'll win the game if he gets a Leok. So please, coin Animal Companion Leok. Thilippery, okay.
Why do you fall? Bring me steel.
I could have done the Shadowed Sunplight, which makes it not die to the 2-3, but because he still has the coin, it would get raped by multi-shot. So I didn't really want to take that chance. This still kind of loses the multi-shot, but most situations I come out ahead.
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
I don't think there's much reason to play the Abusive Sergeant here.
It's time.
Uh-oh, big game range.
My side. Get in there, fight, maggot.
Push forward.
It's time.
Value Micro Machine. Oh yeah. Here I come. Fucking soloing Rexar, dude. 2-mana giant. Yeah.
And we'll see what happens out of it. Who knows? Godlike starting hand? Yeah, unless he has like a 3 health creature. Which it seems like he doesn't.
Powering up. Portals online.
Shields up. Red alert. Women ready.
Here you mostly have to dodge a swipe. If he has a swipe, my godlike starting hand is pretty much irrelevant. Doesn't look like a swipe to me.
Women ready.
Dude, I'll attack with that. If he wants to spend a hero power to kill my 2-1 Worgen at this stage in the game, he's absolutely welcome to.
I can see.
I would have drawn 3 cards off Divine Favor, then 2 cards off of that. I would have drawn 5 cards that turn and cleared his board. Well, that was a good game. Hearthstone's awesome. Totally outskilled my opponent there. It just goes to show how much more skill I had than my opponent.